Hi guys, how are we going today? Welcome. Okay, if you are new here or if you are watching this on replay, I'll just let everyone know that my name is Mel. I'm a full-time reselling mum in Australia, and I basically buy cheap stuff from the charity shops to sell and make money. So this is a live stream today, and I can see I've got people here in the chat. So I'm just going to say a quick hello before we get started into today's topic, and just let a few more people drift in here as we go live. Hi, Duncan. How you going? Hello, Tanya. Hey, Jonathan. 1969. I am me. Hello again. You'll only stay for a bit. That's okay. Watch the replay. That's just as good. Hi, Meredy. Hello, Pommy Picker. Rod, good morning. I've already had a phone call with Rod this morning. We've been busy. Hello, Ian. Hi, Megan. What did she say? First time in ages that she's actually caught it live. Welcome to the live. Hey, Ian, and Ian number 2. Hi, Gay. Oh, Dave's here. Hello, Dave. What a face, Mill. I don't know what that means. Beck King, hello. How you going? Hello, Anki and Issue. I always get your name wrong, so I apologize if I'm saying it wrong. I am here today, and look, I've got my Daily Refinement merch tee on. If you don't follow Daily Refinement, then you certainly should. He is fabulous at teaching the basics and the business side of eBay. And if you're into all that kind of stuff, which I am, I absolutely thrive off all the business and the analytics and learning. So if you are like me and you like that kind of content, then yeah, pop over to Chris's channel, Daily Refinement. And I loved this merch tee. It just says make progress daily, which is clearly what I'm all about. I'm all about the hustle. And I thought this t-shirt was very fitting for me. So sellers supporting sellers, and I went over and bought some of his merch. Okay, guys, so today we are Today we are going to chat about how I think sellers often buy a lot of stuff from the charity shops or the garage sales or wherever you're sourcing from. I feel like a lot of sellers are buying stuff that they don't actually love. And I don't know if you guys have heard of the Marie Kondo, like in your house, where everything in your house should kind of spark joy. Well, I kind of feel like things that we sell should also spark a bit of joy. And I know for me, for the last few weeks, I've been talking about with you guys how I've been going through my death pile. And, since I've got the storage units, I've moved all my listed stock over to the storage units, and all my death pile is here at home. And most of the stuff that I've bought recently is all stuff that I'm really happy with, and like I'm loving selling at the moment, and I'm really into it. And the death pile that has been sitting there for ages and ages is stuff that I'm wishing I never ever bought. And so I wanted to chat about that with you guys, because I've been going through and looking at things in that death pile, and it's actually kind of done a light bulb moment for me. And some of those things that are in my death pile, what I'm realizing is I hate photographing them. I hate listing them. I hate ironing them. I hate dealing with them. And I'm noticing it's a trend within the same types of items. So it's kind of been a light bulb for me moment, as in to say, all this stuff I bought with the intention, knowing that would make me money, knowing that I can make profit off this item, and I've paid money for it. I've invested my money into these items that I don't want to sell. I actually don't want to sell them. I don't want to pull them out and photograph them. I don't want to deal with them. And so now I'm actually going to allow myself to say, I'm never selling that again. So one of the items for me is dresses. I actually hate selling dresses. I hate photographing them. I hate hanging them. I hate the length of them when they go really like a long maxi dress, when they're long on the hanger. I hate when they get crinkled. I hate entering all the item specifics. I don't wear dresses in my everyday life. Unless I'm going to a wedding. I don't really wear dresses. I'm not a dress girl. I'm more a jeans and t-shirt girl. And I just don't gravitate to dresses in my natural life. And I'm not gravitating to them to selling. And I know there's money in them, and I've sold plenty of dresses and I've made lots of money off dresses, but I hate doing them. And I've noticed that my death pile is full of bloody dresses because I'm sitting them there like leaving them to last. I'm listing all the other stuff before I'm listing these dresses. And now I've got this pile of dresses, and it's literally churning my stomach. Like I don't want to deal with them. So I'm actually going to allow myself to say, I'm not selling dresses anymore. All the other resellers in Canberra can have the dresses. I don't want a bar of them. So, I think there's so many pros about allowing yourself to say, I don't like this item. It doesn't work for me. There's so many other items that I would prefer to sell, and there's so many other items in an abundance that I can get. So why do I need to keep picking up these items that I don't actually like selling? So that's basically what I want to talk about today. So let me just have a little look to see if anyone new has come in here and if there's any questions. Hey, Recommerce Dave, Miss J, where are we? You've given me some courage to start doing this as a business. I've been reselling since 2004. That is awesome. So you've obviously got the reselling gene in you. You've obviously always liked it as a hobby, as a bit of a side hustle. And if you can now take that further, then that's awesome for you. And, I wish you all the luck, and, join the community, get into it. And, there's heaps to learn, and doing it full time or running it as a business is quite different to running it as a hobby. But, jump in and give it a go, and well done. Daily Refinement, yes. Ian, you're a mod in here. Can you please link the Daily Refinement channel? And Chris is an American, and just very, very business savvy, very knowledgeable about business. His brain thinks similar to mine. He's much more well-spoken. I'm a bit of a scatterbrain. Chris is very, very smart. You'll hear from listening to him. But, the way that his brain ticks, mine ticks the same way. Where are we? I think it's important to sell items that you're interested in yourself. Absolutely, because this business, yes, we're in it to make money, but there's nothing worse than when you're doing stuff that you don't like. It's like when you're in a regular job and you go to work every day and you actually hate going to work. And we don't want to get to that point in our reselling business where things are becoming chores and that we're loathing to do them anymore. We really want to get to that point in our business where we continue to love our business and we continue to stay motivated, because when we're motivated, we're productive. And when we're productive, we're getting shit done. And when we're getting shit done, we're making sales. So, it's really, really important to keep those motivation levels and the enthusiasm. And I just find that my enthusiasm drops and my motivation to get that stuff done drops when it's the stuff that I don't want to list. So I think it's being self-aware and then letting yourself know it's actually okay. I don't have to sell this if I don't like it. There's plenty of other stuff out there to sell, and focus on the stuff that you do like to sell. I steer clear of shoes as I don't enjoy cleaning them and listing them. Perfect, because if Mari says, if it's not sparking that joy, then why do we don't want to make reselling a chore. There's nothing worse than if it becomes a chore, because then it just becomes like any other dead end job. Going in and doing like crappy work every day doesn't like fill our buckets. So I'll take all the dresses. You know what? There's so many women who love, and men probably, I don't know, but there's so many people that love selling dresses and they love wearing dresses. And I just don't. And that's okay. Everybody else can have the dresses. I hate pants. I love me a good blouse and dress, and I resell at the markets, and mostly they are my top selling. Do you know, Miss J, pants are the other thing on my list. Dresses and pants, they are two things that I'm no longer going to sell anymore. So yes, I'm going to sell jeans because I like selling jeans. I like jeans in my daily life. I love selling jeans. They are good money earners. They're in abundance to find. They sell in quite an abundance, and they sell for quite good profit. So I think jeans are a win-win, but I hate selling pants, especially hate brown pants. And I've said that before on live chats. I hate dealing with brown pants. I hate the color sometimes looks washed out on the wall. I just hate ironing trousers. Trousers and dresses, they're just not my thing. And so I'm just allowing myself now. I'm not going to look down all the racks of trousers anymore, and I'm not going to look down all the racks of dresses. I'm just going to skip past them. So in turn, what that's actually going to do for me is it's going to free up time when I'm going out sourcing to the charity shops, because the dresses is quite a big rack. In some of the stores here, like it's a huge rack. It's one of the biggest racks. So if I don't have to spend my time now looking through all those dresses, then I'm going to save a chunk of time, which allows me to get to the next store faster to be able to buy the things that I actually want to buy and the things that I actually want to sell. So yeah, and same with pants. You know, I can look for the jeans in the store, but I can just flick through all the pants. Like I know there's money in them. I know that some people will say, oh, but you're leaving money on the table. But because I sell volume and I'm buying things in large quantities and I'm buying in abundance, I don't actually think that it's going to matter if I drop off a couple of those niches. You know, I'm sure that you could actually make a whole store just selling dresses, like a niche store that focuses just on dresses. If you loved dresses, how good would that be if you just had a dress store? And then all you had to do was go to every single charity shop and look through the dresses racks and move on and source dresses on Facebook and source dresses like in all different locations, but you were focused on just sourcing dresses for your dress store. How good would that be? You know, so sometimes I think by narrowing down what you sell can actually hold so many benefits, and it can be, you know, so good on the time and just so much better for your motivation. Like we've got to keep that enthusiasm up. We've got to stay positive. We don't want it to be the chore, and, you know, selling things that don't, as they say, spark joy, you know, get rid of them. I would challenge anyone who's got a large death pile to know if a lot of the stuff in your death pile is the stuff that you don't actually want to deal with. Like, are you leaving that at the bottom of your death pile because it's like, I don't like that. I'll do something else first. You know, you start cherry picking, and, you know, then what happens is that stuff that you, especially with clothes, you know, it becomes stale, it becomes out of fashion. You know, when you're listing clothes, you need to be getting them up quickly. You know, you don't want them to be absolutely buried. So I don't know. I just find that I do the same. If I come home and I buy a haul, you tend to pick out the things that you want to list first and the things that are maybe easier to list, and you get them done first. And then you pick out the things that you go, oh, wow, this was a cool find. I'm going to list that straight away because it's brought some excitement into you. And it's, you know, it's making you feel positive. It's making you feel motivated. And then you get some other stuff and it's just like, yeah, I'll do that one later. I'll do that one later. And then next minute you go out sourcing again. And the ones that you were going to do later are still sitting there getting buried and buried and buried. And that's the problem with a death pile. But I think if you are going to sell items that you don't actually really enjoy and that you're only selling them for the money, then you need to eat the frog. As they say, you need to deal with those items first. So for me, if I was to continue buying dresses, because this has all been quite a light bulb moment for me, seeing how many dresses are in my death pile and realizing when I'm looking at that death pile and trying to get through it at the moment, really trying to not source and focus on my death pile. Again, looking at my death pile, instead of just bringing out those dresses and dealing with them straight away, I'm putting them back in the death pile to go and find something else because I just don't want to deal with them. So it's a real catch-22. Sell items that you're enthusiastic. It makes such a difference, being enthusiastic in a job, and especially when you're working from home, because, we have to self-motivate ourselves. We have to stay positive. And, like if you were working for another business, say I was working for another reseller and I was their photographer, and they just gave me the pile of stuff and, it's full of dresses. Well, I don't really have a choice. I've just got to suck that up and do all those dresses. But I am my own boss. And I think sometimes we forget that this is our business and we're the boss, and we should be running this exactly how we want to run it, so that it's fun, so that it's positive, so that we're motivated. And, the more that we remember that, hey, I make the rules here, I'm the boss. I freaking hate selling dresses and I'm a clothes seller, so I should be selling dresses. So you have these two directions going in your head, like I should be selling dresses. There's money in dresses, but I freaking hate selling dresses. So you've got these two little conversations going in your head. And, it's when you finally make a decision to stop doing something that you don't like, it actually is a huge weight that lifts from you. And, it makes you be able to push forward and do better at what you're doing. So when I was half doing photography as a photographer, I was a family photographer before I was doing reselling. And it was really hard for me to make that call of 100% giving up the photography, because I had such a loyal customer base. I had beautiful clients that would come year after year. I had clients that were coming 3 monthly. I had clients that were traveling from interstate just to have photo sessions for me. And I was so torn. Like I felt so bad. Like I'm not loving this anymore. I'm not loving taking these photos anymore. It's making me anxious. It's causing me stress. It's becoming a chore. And it was so hard for me to actually say, because I'd put so much into it, I put so much into growing that business. And, being in a creative field, you put your whole of you into it. Selling something that you've created is tough mentally. I'm always worrying if people liked it enough. But once I made that 100% decision that I'm done with the photography, I can't keep jumping between two things, then I made that 100% decision that I was going to only do reselling, and anybody that came to me for photos, the answer was going to be no. And oh my God, the weight that lifted off me and the way that my reselling business then was able to progress was huge. So I think that goes with, you can take that into account. The fact that I've now said to myself, you don't have to do dresses anymore. In fact, you don't have to do any of those dresses in your death pile. I'm going to bundle them all up and redonate them all. Maybe I'll make a mystery box and somebody can buy a reselling mystery box off me full of dresses. I don't know. I just don't want to deal with them. I don't want to sell them. And I've allowed myself to say, I don't want those dresses anymore. I don't want to sell them. I don't want to deal with them. And that's okay. And what that's going to do is me taking all those dresses and pants out of my death pile that I have no joy over is going to be a huge weight lifted off me once I know that they're out of my space. Once I know that they're totally gone, there's no dresses here for me to look at anymore. No dresses here for me to keep going, I'll deal with that later. I'm not going to go sourcing for any more dresses anymore. So that's like a huge weight lifted off me, and something that was holding me down in my business and making me feel unmotivated, making me feel guilty that I haven't got this stuff listed. That's a weight now that's going to be lifted off me and gone. And so, yeah, I guess what I'm saying is I really encourage you guys to really look at what you're selling and are you selling stuff that you love? And have you got stuff sitting in your death pile that you just keep leaving in that death pile because you don't want to deal with it? Like you'll be surprised, I think, when you look at it, how many things are in there that you don't want. Question. Hello, authentic and intentional me. I picked up some toys, 2 Care Bears, My Little Ponies, Frozen dolls, and they are used, but should I try to clean them or best try to sell them as is? For example, the Care Bears have slight marks. I'm always a bit, you can put the bears and stuff into like a bra, delicate bag, put it into your washing machine and wash it on a gentle cycle. But in the past, when I've had a Care Bear, I did have a Care Bear as well that had a mark on its forehead, and I just showed the close-up mark on the forehead. I don't know, sometimes I feel like I'd rather just show especially if it's only like a smallish mark, I'd rather almost show the mark and let the buyer wash it. And if there's any problems, then they've done it. It's out of my hands. But sometimes, you can wash a plush and it will fluff up really nice. So I think it depends on the fabrics. And as for My Little Ponies, I definitely would probably give their hair a little brush, and you could just get a little bit of eucalyptus oil on a cloth and give them a wipe over. Happy to sell anything that doesn't need ironing. Oh, I hate it. You know what, Meredy? I actually think that shirts will be close on my list of fobbing off as well. A lot of the shirts that I buy, they actually come and they're quite nicely ironed. They're probably good enough. And then when I'm buying so much and I'm throwing it all in the back of my car and going from shop to shop to shop, meanwhile, these shirts are getting crumpled and crumpled. And next minute I have to come home and iron them all to sell. So I don't know. Sometimes ironing can be quite therapeutic if you've got like an hour to spend and can watch like a TV series or something while you're doing it. But I just find that I don't have an hour to spend ironing. And the time that I've got in the evenings where I might want to watch a TV series, I don't want to be ironing. I'm not one that finds it, I'm not one who loves ironing. But, you can, if you were doing that, you can also outsource somebody to iron for you if you work that into your costs. But yeah, I don't like ironing either, especially trousers and pants. Oh, I hate it. Do you think it's worth the time to list clothing of the opposite season, or do you strictly wait for the appropriate season to list? Yes, it makes sense. I do actually list clothing all year round. The only things I would maybe wait a little bit for are things like specific, like for the snow season. I would start listing my snow gear maybe 3 months before the snow season, and then probably you can leave it sitting on your store after the snow season if it didn't sell, but it will go stale because not many people are needing snow gear in the summer. But I would definitely, anything like, you think about jeans, they're very all year round. Shorts are very all year round. There's a lot of warm suburbs, especially here in Australia, that stay pretty warm all year round. So yeah, I would definitely keep listing stock all year round. I wouldn't just buy it and sit it there for 6 months to wait to list, because chances are then you're buying more and more stuff, and that stuff will continue to sit in your death pile. So I actually think just get it up, get it listed. My only exception would probably be snow gear. If I was to go and buy some snow gear now, and it's coming up like proper summer here in Australia, I know it's not going to sell through these next 3 months. So I would probably maybe put a bucket together of the snow gear and then list it about 3 months before snow season. But everything else, I would just get it up and get it listed. Where I just skipped the chat. I can't see. Where am I? Pants mean a different thing in the UK. Pants are like trousers, slacks. I don't know what you call them there. I've learned that my ladies at the local market love denim skirts, and I took a risk and got a few, and they sold them so quickly. It's so good knowing what your market wants, especially if you're doing markets, then that's awesome. But in all honesty, denim skirts sell really, really well all the time. And you'll find that denim skirts are something that can sell even through winter. I sold a denim skirt over the weekend. Denim skirts are definitely a winner. In fact, I think anything that is denim is always going to be a winner. It's kind of all year round. It never goes out of fashion. And denim jackets, denim jeans, denim skirts, denim shorts, win-win. There's nothing worse than brown pants. I am with you. I hate brown pants. they just, I don't know, it's really hard, isn't it, to get I'm a professional photographer, and I still hate getting the color right into pants, especially when obviously, yes, I've got professional photography behind me, but I don't take my eBay photos like a professional. I have to say, I'm all about just getting them done, not making them perfect. When I'm doing a family photography, I'm making that perfect. When I'm photographing my pants, I just want them up. It's done over perfect. But yeah, I hate them. I absolutely hate them. Sweet Hustles, welcome. So glad you shared this. We have 2 piles of dresses and shoes sitting for over 3 months. I feel so bad about it, but I hate taking pictures of the dress and cleaning the shoes, but they are good money. Yeah, it is hard. It ends up, especially once you've already bought them, it's almost like a punch in the guts, isn't it? Like, oh, I've already bought these. What am I going to do with them? And you've really got to make that decision. You've got to either just eat the frog and deal with them. And once you've dealt with them, that weight will be lifted off you. And then recognize that that was actually quite a draining thing for you to deal with. So maybe don't go and source them again. Or if you're like me, they're so draining and I'm so busy and I've got such an abundance of other stock to list that I'm actually like, I don't even want to deal with them. I'm just going to write them off as a loss on my tax and get rid of those dresses, redonate them. I don't feel bad doing that. I think that's fine to do it. So I think for you, I've had dresses sitting for over a year. So 3 months is pretty good. But yeah, I definitely think if you've had them there for 3 months now, and this is like your reminder, okay, she's right. I've got things that are sitting there that I absolutely don't want to deal with. I hate photographing them. I hate listing them. I hate all those item specifics. I hate knowing all the different types of dresses. Can't stand it. But if you're like that as well, you've now got 2 options. Eat the frog, get them done, and give yourself a high five and go out and have a drink or a coffee or celebrate somehow that you've got rid of all those dresses and you listed them. And then remember that draining feeling and don't do it again. In business, we learn from making mistakes. It's the only way to grow. Or your other option is they continue to sit in your death pile, and in another 3 months' time, you'll go, wow, those dresses are still sitting there and it's been 6 months. Or you redonate them and write it off as a loss. So they're your options. And just, it depends on what the rest of, if you've got a large death pile like me, I've got a large death pile. So it's not going to really matter if I just redonate those dresses. So yeah, I wonder what you do. Make sure, hit me up on Instagram and let me know what you decide to do with your dresses. And if they're still there in 3 months' time, so they've been there for 6, hit me up then and let me know that they're still sitting there. Where are we? Okay. Ceramics scare me. They are easy to list but stressful, lengthy process packing for post. Yeah, so I tend to stay away from things like ceramics, but I am also a very churn and burn business. So if you've followed me for a long time, you'll know that I work on a volume-based business, and it's all about quick flips and turning things over fast and everything, all my process, it's all about doing everything fast, just like get it done. So for me, things that are time consuming or need a lot of work or need a lot of cleaning, or things like electronics that are maybe broken and I have to work out or test to see if they even work, I don't want to deal with it. So I have actually been very good in not buying those kind of things. I very rarely buy things that are like ceramics or, the electronics that need work or things that need heavy cleaning. I do actually stay away from that kind of stuff. But I think because I am primarily a clothing, shoes, books, CDs and DVDs type seller, which is, probably 5 of the most main things you can sell. I think because when you are a dedicated clothes seller, you feel like you need to be selling all the different types of clothes, and you feel like you need to sell everything that's clothes. And now I'm kind of realizing no, I don't actually. I can niche down on clothes into the actual items that I actually like, and then it's going to save me so much time going to the charity shop because I can start deleting some of those racks that I don't want to look at. So, then I go into the charity shop. I don't want to look at men's suit jackets. I don't want to look at men's pants or women's pants. I don't want to look at dresses, so I can start cutting down some of these racks now, start focusing on the racks that I actually enjoy listing and enjoy selling and enjoy photographing, and move on to the next store and, get more in. So sometimes when I go to like the big chat, it's got a dizzy spell then. Must be talking. Let's have a water. Sometimes when you go to a charity shop, especially some of the really big stores, I can spend like 3 hours in some of those big stores. And if you like spending 3 hours in a big store, and especially when I'm looking through some time-consuming racks of things that I don't even want to sell, I'm just going to cut it. And I'll just be able to, instead of doing like one store for 3 hours, I might be able to go and look at 3 stores now in that same time period, because I'm cutting out certain things that I just don't want to deal with. Do I have to eat a frog? Yes, you have to eat the frog. If you've never read the book, Eat a Frog, How to Eat a Frog, whatever it's called, I'm sure I've got it around here because it's in my personal collection. What's it called? How to Eat a Frog? You've sent me blank now. Great book. And it basically just talks about the first thing you should be doing every single day is doing the hardest thing or doing the task that you hate doing the most or you don't like doing the most. So you just knock it off. You get it done straight away. And if it's a really big task, then you break it into chunks and, you batch it and you do little bits here and there until that frog is eaten up. But yeah, it's a great method, because in our daily life, we do have things that we don't like doing. And if we always, that if you don't like doing it, you feel better as soon as it's done, because then you can move on to other stuff that you enjoy. But yeah. You live and learn, Mel. Just clear off all the items that you are no longer enthusiastic about and turn them back into cash to reinvest into items that you are enthusiastic about. I absolutely agree. There's nothing worse than low motivation or low enthusiasm or, all it does is cause poor productivity. And, when you're in a business that you're trying to grow, then you have to hustle. And to be able to hustle, you need to be motivated and you need to be positive and you need to be productive. Otherwise, you're just going to become like a lazy reseller. And, when you don't hustle like that, you just become stagnant and you can't grow. And I'm all about growing. So clearing those things that, again, bring negative energy, make you feel like it's a chore. Like nobody wants to do anything that makes them feel like it's a chore. Thank you very much. No dresses. Well, Duncan, you might love selling dresses. You might absolutely love it. So go for all the dresses. I hate them. Mystery boxes. In America, I've seen people do kids' mystery boxes. Do you think something, I don't know. I think doing mystery boxes, it can actually open you up to negative feedback. If people don't like what they've got, if they don't think it's the quality that you said it was, I think you have to be careful with them. I think you have to be careful with mystery boxes. But, I think the reason people do mystery boxes is they don't want to do the photographing and the listing. Mystery boxes are basically stock that other people don't want to deal with. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad stock. Like for me, my dresses aren't bad. They're all good quality things that I've bought. I just don't want to deal with them anymore. So they're bad for me, but they might be fantastic for somebody else who loves dresses. Thank you, Ian. Yep. If you want to hit the like for me, then make sure you do. Mystery boxes for dresses would be great. Then we'd know that they'd be great dresses to resell for those of us who love reselling dresses. Well, it's all about trial and error and, what's this? Guitar Heroes. About added them. You've got 8 Guitar Heroes waiting to list in your death pile. Oh, see, I would hate dealing with those. You're actually in the process of identifying your niche market, Mel. Jonathan, I think you're right. I think as my business is growing, for me to be able to grow, I have to, what's the word? I have to narrow down on my systems, and I have to make everything easier. And like, I do have it pretty good. I do have it set up pretty easy, but I definitely think now that I've kind of gone past that hobby part-time, like I've been doing this full-time a while. It's my full-time, full-time, I don't know, I'm over 18 months full-time, but I think I'm full-time to that point now where I've got to this point, and now it's time to grow. And to grow, I have to make changes, and I have to look at things in my business that aren't working for me, things that are time-consuming, things that I don't like, things that I can do better, things that I can churn and burn more, because, I've identified that that's my business model. I've identified that it's churn and burn and quick flips and, moving things along fast. So if I've got things that are sitting there draining my energy and making me slower, and even if I was to pull those dresses out, I would actually work probably 10 times slower than I would if I was photographing something else that I enjoy, because I'd probably procrastinate on them. I'd sit there with these dresses, I'd slowly be photographing them. I'd probably go and put YouTube on, or a pod music or something. I'd be distracted. I'd probably go in there and make a drink, and then I'd come back and photograph another dress, and then I might go for a walk around the house or put some washing on. I'm likely to get distracted and not stay into that mode of hustling, because I'm not enjoying that what I'm doing. Whereas if I'm photographing something that, like, I enjoy and it's easy to photograph, and I know it's going to be good and quick and easy for me to list, and I can do similars to make sure, like, it's all very time effective for me, then, I'm going to crank out the photos on those particular items just to get them done and get them listed. So yeah, I think I am kind of finding my niche and narrowing down. Do op shop staff come up to you when you spend a lot of time in there? Most of the op shop staff actually know me. I'm on first name basis with most of my regular stores. I walk in the door, hey Mel, how you going? And they all know what I'm doing. I'm not afraid to tell them what I'm doing. I have made contacts. Some of them actually set things aside for me now, and because they know things that I buy, and oh Mel, I kept this aside for you because I knew you'd be in today, and like, I'm pretty sure you'll want it. So then they've got it sitting. It hasn't even made the shelf, but I didn't even ask them that. They've just kept it there because they know, they kind of get into that familiarity of when I'm coming in every couple of days, and they kind of go. They're now knowing, oh, if we sit it here on the shelf out the back for a day, we know Mel will come in, she'll probably buy it. So, they're actually looking after me, and I'm looking after them. So I think building relationships with the staff is very good. And, I don't have that same relationship with the casual staff that kind of come in and out, or the voluntary staff as much. But the ones that are the managers of the store, they know me, and they know what I do. And they don't care. I mean, I'm in there paying full price for their goods and clearing out a massive chunk for them to be able to restock. So they actually like me. So yeah, don't be worried about being judged by someone who works in there. In reality, they can't throw you out. You're a paying customer. What has been your ultimate cheap find? Mine was a set of Beats by Dre headphones for $3. My ultimate cheap find. Good question. I did find a really cool jacket once. I think I paid about $5 for it. It's one of those like Swedish jackets, and it was like made for like if you were a traveler, so nobody could pickpocket you. So when you opened it up inside, there was literally about 30 different pockets, and they were all really like secure, and it was just a plain jacket. There was nothing fancy on the outside. I'm trying to think of the brand. I think it was Scott's something. And it was a special pickpocketer. So if you were traveling and, you could keep all your passports and your money and everything safe. And I picked that up for about $5, and that sold for a couple $100, like easy, and it went really fast. So that was definitely a great cheap find. That men's jacket. Yep. Maybe list the clothes as bulk on a reseller page for another reseller to buy. I might, Meredy. I'll go through. I'll see how I feel about it. And if I did list them, I'd probably list it on the deals down under page to see if somebody wants them there. If anyone hasn't watched it yet, go check out Mil's videos with Daily Refinement. They'll certainly get you thinking. Yeah, so if you don't know and you haven't seen it, I did 2 chats with Chris from Daily Refinement. The first chat was on his channel and the follow-up chat was on my channel. And we talked about how I could scale up my business. So he basically was mentoring me and giving me advice on how I could move my store up to the next level and what I needed to do to be able to grow my business from doing it all myself as a one-man band, because I basically was becoming stagnant. I got to that point where I couldn't really grow any further because I couldn't do anything more myself. So Chris really gave me some great ideas, and I am going to do a follow-up with Chris. So we're going to talk about those ideas that I implemented, and I really look forward to talking to him again. Yeah, they do. They look out for me. They're friendly. They know me by name. I swear it's like I'm their friend when I come in there now. And it's funny because sometimes I go sourcing on a Tuesday, and one of the managers when I go into one of the stores, because I've always got my makeup done, he's always like, "Oh, you look different today." And I'm always laughing, thinking, yeah, that's because I've actually washed my hair and done my makeup for the video. Whereas normally I go in there in my tracksuit pants and my messy bun and look like absolute rubbish. So I always think that's pretty funny. Do you list it as buy it now? I'm always indecisive as whether or not to set a price or let the buyers bid. I only do buy it now. So in Australia, auctions aren't very popular. I know they are over in America and the UK, but in Australia, we don't really do auctions. And one of the reasons for that is auctions actually cost you, and don't quote me because I haven't done one and I haven't looked at the fees for a long time, but it's approximately about $3.20 to run an auction. You have to pay an extra fee to run an auction. So if you're going to pay that $3.20 fee, you really want to be auctioning something that's going to go for quite a high amount of money and be worth money. You don't want to be auctioning something that's only worth $20, then paying your regular 15% roughly on eBay fees, and then paying another $3.20 on top of that, and then postage, you're going to end up with no money. So I think if you had something that was really, really rare and unique, that would benefit from an auction, then maybe. But if you're just selling pretty generic stuff, I would steer clear of auction and just stick with buy it now, and put the offers on it. Set a price and put offers on it so people are able to make offers. Where are we? I never seen eBay scam though. I don't know what that means. If you want to clarify, just let me know. Are you going to do a second video on the setup of your new storage units? Yes, I am. Some of it, Jonathan, because I'm quite private in what I sell, because obviously if I disclose everything that I'm selling, then, that doesn't benefit me, because obviously being a public reseller, if I say I'm selling this, people go, "Oh, Mel's selling that, it's going to go really well," and they go and buy it all, and then the whole market tanks. So there's some things that I want to keep private in what I'm selling, and that is why I keep my stores private. So some of my storage unit I probably won't share the inside of, just because you will see things that I'm selling, and I do try and keep that side private. But one of the storage units is set up as a packing area, and different parts to that shed, and I actually think that's quite interesting, and I'm definitely going to be doing a video on that soon. I've actually got a list of videos, and I can't even keep up with how many things that I've got to talk about at the moment. I'm on a real roll with it all. So yeah, I've just got to fit making them all into my schedule. Once I found a book of essays by Jack London, the English Mills and Boon edition, for $1, thinking to flip it for $30. The US edition sells for $2 to $3K, and the UK is even rarer, and now it's in my safe. Wow, Reg, that's so cool. The English Mills and Boons edition. I'd love to see the cover of that. If you could, do you reckon you could DM me on Instagram or Facebook? Like, just not your one that's in the safe, just take a screenshot of, that particular book off another listing and screenshot it to me and send it. I'd be really interested to see that. That's absolutely crazy. That kind of stuff fascinates me. Absolutely fascinates me. Yeah, so much money. $3.30 for the auctions, but I heard a guy involved in developing Cassini says auctions give you an across-the-board boost in search. Interesting. So if you don't know what Cassini is, guys, Cassini is the algorithm that eBay uses. So basically what Reg is saying here is that he's talked to somebody who knows a little bit about that algorithm, and, maybe offering some auctions gives you a boost. I haven't tried it. I haven't used them, so I couldn't say. My stores are fairly consistent because I'm consistent on them. I think consistent listing, consistent activity on the store will bring, consistency in your orders, I guess. But yeah, that's interesting. If anybody tries it, then let me know. I don't think I've got anything worth auctioning off, really. I don't have anything real fancy because I am such a bread and butter type store and sell so many basics. I don't really feel like I've got anything that would be worth auctioning. But yeah, it's an interesting theory, and I'd love to talk to somebody because I do find I love all that analytical side of things. So that kind of stuff interests me. So I would be interested in hearing more about that. Even though I'm in Sydney, I run my auctions on eBay UK at 42 pence. It's cheaper than eBay Australia site. Wow, that's really interesting. So yes, we can sell on the eBay UK site. And interesting that it's only 42 pence. Pence? Is that pence? Pence might be, I don't even know. It's a UK dollar anyway. 42 is about 90 cents here Australian, I think. So much cheaper than $3.20 in Australia. So yeah, that's really cool. That's interesting. And because do you mainly sell those, Duncan, if you're on the UK site, I would presume that you're still selling worldwide, so you've still got the option to be shipping that anywhere. Interesting. You loved my storage video. Oh, good. Okay, well, there's definitely another one coming on some of it. Some of it I will keep private, some of it. And, yeah, who knows, I might even have another storage shed not far in the future. Have you dabbled in kids wear? That's what I've sold on eBay as a hobby, but not sure whether it's worth investing more in the time and what's your experience. I don't do that great on kids wear, to be honest. It's just, yeah, I pick it up every now and then, but I don't really focus on it. I have had some luck with some brands. There's some specific brands. Oshkosh, especially Oshkosh Vintage, will do well for you, especially the little overalls. Bonds can sometimes go pretty good. Ubi, Baby and Kids, Mini Munsters. There's a few kind of designer. I don't even know if Mini Munsters is around anymore, but there's a few kind of designer brands that go all right with kids. But I don't spend a lot of time looking at the kids racks. I don't find a huge amount of profit in them. But again, that's just my personal experience, and you probably need to test it out yourself, because often what sells for me won't necessarily always sell for you. And likewise, kids wear might sell really great for you, but not for me. So, it's work. Just because it doesn't sell for me, don't make the assumption that it's not going to work for you and that you should steer clear of it. It's all about doing your own research and finding things that work for you. So, if you've dabbled in it before and you've enjoyed it, then, it's worth perhaps trialing again. And, don't just do what I do, or don't just do what I say, because, it might be different for you. Watch my Facebook address. I've got Back from Burnout now on Facebook. So if you just go onto you can find me as Back from Burnout, and you can message me via Back from Burnout. Oh my gosh, thank you, Mr. Buys a Lot. Showing some support for the Australian Barbie. I don't know if I'm a Barbie. Maybe like, is there old Barbie? Don't know about Barbie, but thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Mr. Buys a Lot, which is Brian. So thanks so much, Brian. Yes, I sell a lot to the UK people and worldwide. Yeah, that's really fascinating. That's really actually clever, Duncan. So yeah, there you go. Perhaps if you are thinking about doing options, it might be worth looking into listing on the UK site to make it cheaper. Depends how many you're going to be listing, I guess. I guess there's a few pros and cons about going between the Australian site and the UK site. I don't know a lot about I don't know a lot about that, so I can't really comment on it, I guess. Amelia, I just saw it, Ian. Thank you. I'm scrolling down. Thank you. My items are all antique letters and envelopes from the 1800s, really easy to ship. How interesting. I love how everybody's got different niches and different genres, and I really like hearing when somebody else is not selling what everybody, well, not the main, but what the masses, I guess, are selling. So it's really interesting when you talk to somebody else who's selling something totally different that, like I would have no clue about antique letters and envelopes. So, it's quite fascinating when you can make a living doing that. I don't sell dresses. Barbie wears dresses. Not in my house. Barbie's always naked. Definitely got a lot more going up in the head than Barbie. Thanks. Do you put shoe measurements in shoe listings? Okay, so I don't put shoe measurements in as such. Like, I'm not measuring the soles of the shoe. Obviously, I show the photo very clearly of the tag, which shows, the sizing and all those little details on the tag. However, if it's a pair of high heels, then yes, I'll always show a tape measure with the heel. So if you were to go back to one of my older videos where I showed how I photograph shoes, you will see when there's a high heel, I lay it onto the flat white board, and I just get the tape measure in terms of inches, put it against the heel, and I take a photo of that and put it in with the photos so it shows people. Because it does make a difference with high heels. Like, I know I can't wear 5-inch heels. I'm not good enough. I don't wear heels often enough to wear 5-inch heels. And plus I would probably be too tall with 5-inch heels. So I tend to stick around that 3-inch or something. So I would always want to know the measurement of the heel before buying a pair of shoes. But in terms of inside the shoe or the sole of the shoe, no, I think just by putting the actual size of the shoe from the shoe tag will be generally enough, because I think most people are, your shoe size, don't you? Like, I'm a women's size 8. So, like, I'm pretty confident if I buy a size 8 that it's going to fit me. Occasionally I might need an 8.5 or a 9, but in general, most of my shoes would be size 8. So, yeah. So I can't see any more questions. Hi, Michael. If you've got any more questions, pop them there and ask me, because I've been going for nearly an hour with my verbal diarrhea as usual. But while I'm here, I wanted to let you know, guys, that I will have another video coming out on Thursday. That I'm going to talk about. And then on Saturday, I have a live chat on Saturday morning, which will be 8 a.m. Australian and 9 p.m. UK. And don't ask me what it is in America, because I don't know. But I will be doing a live chat on my channel with Nick Hills. And we have a specific topic to be discussing. We're not just doing a random chat. We are actually discussing a topic together. And yeah, so that'll be Saturday morning at 8 o'clock and Friday 9 p.m. So yeah, that would be really good if we could see some of you in the chat. And I always love chatting with Nick Hills. He is, an awesome guy that I learn a lot from. And, I think Most of you in here will probably know Nick, but he is a big full-time reseller in the UK and very knowledgeable, and I love to have our chats. Bye, Mr. Biselot. Thank you again for your super chat. I really appreciate it. In your next bulk haul had 10 to 15% of addresses, would you still buy it or walk away? I think I'd have to see what the rest of it was, Dave. I don't know. I think there's always a percentage of a bulk haul that probably you have to think of that won't sell, or that you might, especially if it's used, that might need donating. I know with my bulk haul, there's been a chunk that I've had to redonate. It's stuff that I'm not even going to worry about. So I think, yeah, tricky. I don't know, Dave. I'd have to see what the haul is. Do you have any stories about fixing something to get profit, or is it a waste of time? Michael, it's definitely not a waste of time, especially if you're good at fixing stuff. Like, I'm not good at fixing PlayStations or DVD players or Dyson vacuum cleaners. So my friend Rod, he is really, really good at fixing Dyson vacuum cleaners, and he often buys broken Dyson vacuum cleaners. He breaks them up into parts and he lists the parts, because people will have their own vacuum cleaner. Some part of it will break, so then they need to get another part in, so they go to eBay. So he's very knowledgeable at breaking items up that are already broken and, selling them as spare parts, or he's even really good at fixing them. And I'm not. So that's not something that I would focus on. But there's definitely money into it. Of course, there's money into nearly everything. Is it a waste of time? It depends how much time you spend on something to then the money that you're going to make for it, because time is money. So you do have to take that into account, how long you're spending on something, to then how quickly you get it sold and how much it sells for. There is an element in that involved, unless you're doing this as a bit of a hobby and you just enjoy buying things to fix up and pottering around and doing. I think that's a different story. I'm here full time trying to churn and burn as many items as I possibly can to make as much money. So, for me, I don't have a lot of time just to sit around fiddling with those kind of things. So I just leave them. What I'm looking for, there's so much of an abundance available that I will spend my time picking that stuff up that I know that I can quick flip. But, there's definitely money into it. There's definitely profit in, just like there's profit in dresses. I just don't want a bar of them anymore. So yeah, not a waste of time, especially if you're very good at it. I think if you're good at fixing things, there's definitely ways to make money from that. Barbie and Ken, don't know about that. Where are we? I think that's it. I reckon I could get you to fix a PlayStation up to a TV. I mean, I probably could do it. That's one thing about me, Dave, is I'll give anything a crack. I'm actually, when I set my mind to doing something, I am very driven. So if I found something that I wanted to learn how to fix, I would bloody learn how to fix that. And I would watch tutorial after tutorial until I knew how to do it. But I just don't have any interest to do it. But you could definitely get me to fix a PlayStation. I mean, I could do it. I could learn it. I could self-teach myself. That's how I do everything in life. I self-teach myself everything, Even when I was a photographer, I learned how to do photography from YouTube tutorials. I learned how to use Photoshop from YouTube tutorials. I did the whole lot of tutorials. So I just sit there and just keep learning bit by bit by bit, and and I go back and I rewind and I watch again, and that's how my brain ticks. It's a very kind of strategic brain that I've got. Brain. Have I even got a brain? I don't know. Hey, Pat. Okay, I'm gonna end this up. It's 11 o'clock. If you're still in the chat, I can see there's like 80 of you. don't forget to hit the thumbs up for me. I really, really appreciate it. If you got some value from this video, you know, share it around on Instagram. I always appreciate a share and a shout out. And, you know, thanks again. I really appreciate everyone being here. And I look forward to seeing you on Thursday for a pre-recorded video and Saturday morning with a live chat with Nick Hills. Bye, guys.